morning, Gulfstream Park Race 2. What do we got? 2 minutes. I like the 6 here, Stella Beyonda. Current favorite, 6-5. Has been facing this group. I think, Jose D'Angelo, I think just better in this group. Sluty Princess beats Sluty Princess. You can see back, Sluty Princess on 418, but lost on 320 and 222. So new with Equine Edge. If you see a blue date, that means horses faced each other previously. Tries to help make that more easy. You can see the 6-1 on 320. This was a tough trip last out. It was kind of in between and keen and just didn't run the best race. Reyes gets a ride aboard for D'Angelo. I think the 6 beat the 1 here. 3 had a little bit of a look. Queen Kong on the front end, but I think there's enough speed, as we see with the race sim, that this sets up for the 6. The 1 does win on the race sim, but I'm taking the 6. We're getting 7-5. That's why I like here in race 2. Let's talk about maybe the next couple races, because that's why I wanted to jump on real quick. We found a great price yesterday to beat vulnerable favorite, right? We got 5-1. I can't remember what race that was at Gulfstream Park, but I think here I key on the 6. If you want to use the 1, fine. The 3 again was my third pick. We go to the next race. They're approaching the gate. But I wanted to cover this. I love trying to beat the 7 here in the favorites in race 3. I think there's a lot of speed. Hillbilly Bob, look at that E morning line, 9-2, 9-2. This horse is going to get way over bet, in my opinion. Completely vulnerable favorite of the card on Hillbilly Bob, trying to beat this horse all day, just like yesterday. I think that either Lomax, the 1, or Esperanzito, the 3, are great value. I was 1, 3, 2 here, but I love the 1 and 3 if you want to key off the previous race, or if you're playing to pick 4. I love the 1 and 3 here. Lomax, I think, sets a great trip. I think Operation George probably going to duel. The 2 can win, but I love trying to beat the 7. I don't know how this horse was the favorite. Again, 9-2 in the E morning line. But I'm 1-3-2 there. If we go to race 4, how much time we got? All right, they're still rounding. So if you're playing early, great sequence. Pick 5 was good too. But Junction Road, the real deal here, I think, coming off the pace, but do not dismiss Active Fool on the front end on the Tapeta. This is my top pick. 5-2, if you wanted to spread, the 3 is a big bomb, and Spy Novel a little bit of a price. But Active Fool might wire this group on the front end, has a nice pace advantage of 9 points under Spy Novel. We'll see on the race. And 5 runs a great race on the front end, but Junction Road does come kind of flying on the Tapeta. But with that low pace number like that, and a little bit of advantage, the 2 going to come over the top. But if we go back to the stretch, I mean, the 5 is there. Active Fool, Torres rides, riding great. Faced the 62 here, ran great up front. This horse hasn't been on the lead in a bit, and last time it was on the turf, it won. I think is a great value. 2-5 here. Again, 3-1 if you're spreading. How much time we got? Okay, they're heading to the Tapeta. The 1 horse 4-5, the 6 2-1. Again, I'm taking the 6 here in race 2. Going to try to beat the 1 with the 6. Race 5, and then maybe we'll pause and we'll talk about a few more races. I thought this was a spread race. The one thing I'll tell you, the 9+ posts going 6 furlongs on the main track, 0 for 278 since January of 25. 0 for 278 since January of 25. The 9 to 10, 11 posts. This race wide open. The 9 needs scratches and is a player if it can get some scratches, but it's tough from out there. Bobby spread here. If you wanted to go narrow, 7-8-2, but I thought the 5 and 3 were live long shots. And then I think you got to use the 2-6-9 if you're deep spreading. And again, you can play a little bit cheaper and spread in this race here. And so I think, again, so here's race 2. We're on the 6. We'll watch it, and then we'll talk about a couple more races. But I appreciate you all joining. Hey, Gary, good to see you. Everybody else, thanks for joining. Great. We found that horse yesterday. That was great to beat a favorite. And I talked about, if you just joined, there's some vulnerable favorites, I think, in race 3 and 4. But I was on the 6 here, Stella Bionda, Sluty Princess, they faced each other. The 6 is 1. I just think the 6 might be better than the 1, but about a 6-1-3 here in the third race. 1, 3. Could use the 2 if you want, but trying to beat the 7 there. We'll have the 5 in race 4. It's top GSR play in race 4 is the 5, but let's see what happens here in race 2. They off. Stella Bionda breaks well. The 2 goes to the front, which was, I think that was to be expected if I remember right. Let's go to race 2. We'll watch this race in real quick. Yeah, 2 and 3, we're going to show speed for sure. And the 3 looks like going to get the lead. So Queen Kwong to the front. Country Economics sits about length and a half back, stalking the pace. And then you got the Countess Red in third. Up the rail, Sluty Princess, your favorite at 4 to 5. Somerset Mia in between, and then we got Bionda in about 6th place, but getting a good stalking trip from out there. They went about 24 seconds in the first quarter, so pretty good speed. We thought there might be some speed with Country Economics and Queen Kong up front. Still there. Stella Bionda goes off at 2 to 1. We gotta love that. Getting a good trip to the outside. You got Sluty Princess down on the rail, but Stella Bionda probably gonna get first jump here. Sluty Princess is caught down the rail. You have Queen Kong up front, followed by Country Economics, and Stella Bionda looks to take over here into third and running a nice race. Sluty Princess on the rail in fourth, and then you have Courageous Diane at 22 to 1 in fifth. But Stella Bionda takes over, it looks like, here at the top of the stretch. Stella Bionda at 2 to 1. Down to the inside, you have Queen Kong, who's not putting up a much challenge. And Sluty Princess running on here, trying to take over second. But Stella Bionda, 2 to 1, baby. Take it to the house. Easy money. We get a nice winner there to kick off the card. Stella Bionda beats the 4 to 5. Sluty Princess favorite. That's what we're talking about. Gary, that's why we jump on, man. I was running a little bit behind. We're at the vacation house this weekend and handicapping, trying to get all these races in, get ready. I think we're about to head on the boat. But if you played along, I love it. We get 2 to 1. If you keyed it there, we talked about some pick 3s and pick 4s. It's a great sequence. Stella Bionda wins 2 to 1. There we go. If you just joined us and you missed that, I apologize, but I talked about in race 3, I think that you could beat the 7 here, vulnerable favor of the card. I like the 1 and 3. The 2 and 4 would be deeper spreads. Race 4, we talked about the 5. Could get loose, top genetic strength rating here. Really nice starter optional claim. Could set some soft fractions up front with Gilbert Torres in race 4. Junction Road does look tough. For e-user, you'll see my notes on the 1 and 3. Those would be a little bit deeper spread. And then this was a tough race, the maiden claimer. It's just not a great group. Pretty deep spread for me if you got in there on the pick 4, or if you want to play a pick 3, there's probably some good value still. I think in race 6, I thought if you're narrow, it was 5 and 8 for me, 1 of 1 and World Traveler. I think they could be tough here. But if you're going to spread a little bit, I didn't have a strong opinion here. 2, 4, 7. Maybe if you're deeper spread, not strong opinion there. I'll talk about this one, and then we'll definitely talk about stakes race too. So this, outside of the single we just had there, this is my second strongest pick of the day. Outside of race 2 there. Long Vad for Safi. Safi leading wins at the Royal Palm meet, just kind of dominating, right? Like, I mean, what he had 18 wins. Victor Barbosa Jr. out 14. I mean, he leading by 4. Safi going to probably run away with training title, but he has Long Bad here. I think there's enough speed. I do think Noble J going to show speed, who is a player, and Cajun Gold, has that big pace advantage. So there's a lot of speed here. I think Long Bad could sit the trip off that early speed. Might show the ability to be able to stock here. It's taking a big drop in class. We'll look at in a minute. Can you go a little bit dangerous here down the front end? But I do think there's enough class here from the 2. The 6, I think there's enough speed. The 4 win the race sim. Here's the thing about final payment. This is a low GSR. I don't love it. Has won 3 races in a row in a 44, 48, and a 52. But this is a 54, so stepping in class. Did win by 4 lengths last out for Chapman. Mr. Miguel Vasquez jumps aboard. He rode 3 back. This horse is a player, but that's a step up in cost. Only 2 points, but jumping into State Bred was a great claim by Chapman. Was a 4th claim in a row. This horse fits. But Longvad, I mean, here's the thing. Lightly raced, big GSR, nothing wrong with this effort versus 66 sophomore State Bred stakes at Gulfstream Park for Safi, and now dropped 12 points in SOR. I mean, 12 is massive. And I don't see anything wrong here. You can find a great race in the condition book. Allowance, State Bred, second time State Bred, broke the maiden versus 56 on the lead. I mean, the question is, does Longvad need the lead? I don't think so. I think Micah will be able to sit off that early speed. I do think the 2 will press the 5. I think that the 6 could sit a good trip there. That was my other outside of race 2, which we just covered. That was one of my other stronger picks. 2 6s today for strong picks. So 6 there in race 7. Race 8, Eaton, Salvador Prince, and JJ for me. I think the picks have this race, in my opinion. We watch the racing real quick. We won't talk too much about this one, and then we'll talk about the stakes race for sure. But, actually, we got 2 more. The 5, I think JJ, Edwin Gonzalez, man, he going to be on the front end here on JJ, and he's so good from the gate, so good on the front end. Easily could take this group a really, really long way on the Tapeta. Watch the Tapeta today because it hasn't been much rain lately and there is no turf. I think this will be a fairly fair track. When there's more moisture in the track, I think it can play to speed. But I do still think, look at that 6-1 E morning line. You have a long shot angle, 1 of 48 last out, off the claim. Edwin G rides. He does so good on front runners. I think there's not a lot of speed here either, right? I mean, it's only a 55 number. He could get loose up here. But I do think if that horse comes back, I think the 2 or 3 could sit the trip. I put the 3 on top. 3-2-5. I think the picks have it. Oh, actually, we got 2 more. This is a great card today. Allowance, optional claim. They're on the dirt. Safi, I believe, has 3 runners in here, if I remember correctly. I do think Con Campagna, that's where I landed on top. I think this horse could run a really good race, forwardly placed on the lead, seeing right off, has the top GSR genetic strength rating, finds the perfect spot here, could run a big race. The race sim shows this horse might be able to rate right off the pace and wins the race sim. I think that the 5 is for sure a vulnerable favorite for me. Looking at that, we talked about the 7 in race 3 as also one coming up, but the 5 I'd be trying to beat here, guns loaded with Con Campagna. And then I had the 6, Roar the Beast. This is like the other Safi angle, right? He has the 3 and he has the 6. And I think that, I guess, other Safi, I think the 6th, the horse to have with Edwin G. If the 1 doesn't go to the lead, which I do think Vasquez will, drops in SOR, Roar the Beast with Edwin G on the front end could be really dangerous here. You have a strong GSR. We saw that. Ran a great race. We have an EE morning line angle. Hopefully we get some good value. I think this horse will take money. That morning line, that's 15-1. I think it's way too high. I think takes action. Probably gets bet way down here to 5-1, 7-1, something like that. But I think up front, I like kind of the speed here. So I was 1, 6, 2, trying to beat the 5 and 3. If I had to pick one of them, I picked the 3. That's why I think the 5 guns loaded is a vulnerable favorite today. You can see it in the EE morning line, 5-1. So against there, here's the thing about this race. Lenaloo, speed. There is some other speed from Canton. Some nice GSRs in this race. Lenaloo 2-5 on the E morning line has a big pace figure there. I think she could be tough here in the game face stakes for sure. The 7 late night text we'll talk about as well. Doesn't really like on the E morning line, and Lenaloo essentially just runs them off their feet. You look at Lenaloo from a class perspective, right, and comes out of an 80. in that limestone at Keeneland on the turf, where she ran a great race and drops all the way back to a 70. She might prefer the turf. She might prefer the dirt. Either way, she's fast and she doesn't need the lead. But Ocasio been riding for Ben Cohn. He rode last year. That was in the fall, right? Size has been on here. I mean, the thing about her is she fast. And the 5 probably going to be right up there, but she doesn't need the lead, has tactical speed. You look at the 3, won the Hallandale Beach, has won a couple stakes races, stocking the pace for Brady. But this is a different group. The 4 hasn't been winning. Not going to look there. Canton, been facing for Safi, who's been riding really well for him. Great kid here, getting some mounts from Safi. Might be on the front end. Lena Lou just stocks, or Lena Lou might just go, right? I don't think she necessarily is going to be dueling up there. I think the 7 got too much of a hike in class. It's 2 for me. The 5 would be my second pick. 2. But the 2 I think is going to be tough. If you wanted to key there, I wouldn't blame you. It might be a single. I had the little bit stronger conviction in those 2 other races, but 2 or 5 in the last race. And I'll let you all go. This race wide open. I would tell you, like, if you're playing horizontals, you better spread. So I don't want to talk too much here. Look at 5-1 on the morning line against this 7 horse. This horse is beatable all day. Another vulnerable favorite on the card, in my opinion. The 10's got a tough post from out there. But a horse like the 4 is going to run a good race. The 5 is going to run a good race. You can see the 2, I think, will run a good race. There's a GSR play there. Like this on the race, and if I remember correct, I think the 10 wins. The 10 or 7 are right here. Yeah, I think the 10 wins. But they all kind of back up. But the thing is, I think the 7 is so beatable in this race. 10 wins there. But as I talked about, I think 4 or 5. But I'd be spread here for sure if I was playing a horse on. All right, y'all. We started off with the winner. That's what we're here for. We will be back more Royal Palm Meet coverage tomorrow. Good luck today if you're playing. And I'll be around. Chat soon. Gary in the 7th race, 5-4-2. So I do think that the 6, but I had Cajun. I was 5-4-2 underneath. I think the 5 could hold on, and I do think the 4 can run a good race. But outside, I put them all kind of in the same place. The 1 even can run a good race too, Gary. So I didn't have a strong conviction in a vertical perspective, but yeah. All right, y'all. Good luck.